Brothers and sisters a chance to get on here. All right, Shalom Israel, you're on live with the Israelite School of UPK. Priest and Captain Soccer War holding down the class live from Memphis, Tennessee. These brothers and sisters tuning in every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We have classes from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time down here in Memphis. You brothers and sisters tuning in, you got any family, loved ones, people you care about in Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas, get them in contact with us here at the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Since 1969, we've been teaching so-called blacks, Latinos, Native American Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2021, there's nothing more important than for so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians to learn the truth of who they are, where they come from, and what their purpose is on the earth. So that's what we do with these classes, give brothers and sisters an opportunity to go into this book called the Bible, to gain the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that was endued unto our forefathers by the Most High, so that we could stand on our feet and be the people he called us to be, and show the rest of the earth how to love and serve the Most High. All right, with that said, these classes, we like to give brothers, let brothers and sisters ask questions about anything they may need and some clarity on pertaining to the scriptures. But also we have different topics that we go into, so you can be able to open up the Bible and learn how to read it to apply it to your life, and not just read it for the nice words that are there as the Christians and these other religions do. All right. So having said that, we do have a topic for tonight's class is the law of God, live by it, die by it. All right. We're going to talk about the law of the Most High and the role and the function that it should serve in our lives. But of course, before we get into that, if any brothers and sisters have any questions, raise your hand in the class. If you got any questions online, all you got to do is type them in. All right. Do we have any questions in the class? Now, again, I like to stress to brothers and sisters, don't be shy. You know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as a bad question. The only bad question is the one you don't ask. Everybody understand? And don't forget it's said that a man who teaches himself has a fool for a student. Everybody understand? So ask your questions. Don't be shy. You never know how something that you may be wondering about could give clarity to another brother or sister. All right. So we got Trooper Ash Bagarumya in the class. Got a question? Come on with it, Ash.
So like I said, as far as we work for Jubilees, 50 years.
Okay, so every 7 years was a year release, right? So every 7 years you were forgiven for your debts to a certain degree, right? Every 50 years was like a great, it was like a year, okay. Every 7 years you were relieved of your debts, right? But then every 50 years was a year of Jubilee, where anybody who had been indebted to the point where they were in slavery or in what they call I want to say indentured servitude, but that ain't the term the Bible uses. But anybody who had to work for someone because of a debt that they owed, they would be forgiven. All right, so the year of Jubilee, let's go ahead and get it in the Bible and get the breakdown, all right? Okay, hold on, bear with me. Matter of fact, let me get it in the book. Get it in the Zondervan dictionary. All right, bear with me. Okay, hold up. All right, here's the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary definition of Jubilee. All right. So, according to Leviticus 25, every 50th year in Israel was to be announced as a Jubilee year. Three essential features characterized this year. First, liberty was proclaimed to all Israelites who were in bondage to any of their countrymen. So, again, if you had any brothers, okay, so what would cause an Israelite to be in bondage under another Israelite? Does anybody know? Come on with it. What circumstances would cause an Israelite to be in bondage under another Israelite? Anybody? Come on with it. Oppressing him? Give me a little bit more. What do you mean by that? It's all right. It's okay if you don't know. It's all right. Just think about it. Let's stay on the oppression. Under what circumstances would an Israelite be oppressing another Israelite? Or, okay, maybe a better question is oppression the only way that a person ends up being in bondage to someone? Nah, that's not the only way that you end up in bondage to somebody, right? So let's think of some way. What are some ways that you end up in bondage? And understand that bondage is being you are a servant to this person. You understand? It wasn't Israelite custom for us to own one another. That's what bondage is. Bondage is you own somebody. They're your slave. They're your servant. Everybody understands? So under what conditions could an Israelite fall up under another Israelite as a servant? Commit a crime. You understand? So the scripture say if you steal from a man, what do you owe that man back? 7 times what you stole. Now, if you stole something, you ain't got it. That's why you stealing in the first place, right? How you gonna pay somebody back 7 times what you stole from them? You're gonna work that off. You understand? There was if you got into a fight with a brother and you disabled a brother to where he couldn't work anymore, couldn't make a living. Now you had to make a living for him and his family. You took care of that man who you, in a rage, beat to the point where he was paralyzed or he wasn't right no more. Well, guess what? Now he's your responsibility. You're going to deal with the consequences of you not having any discipline, not having any control. Everybody understands? That's what. So there were different circumstances under which you could become indebted under an Israelite. One of them was by committing a crime, right? You commit a crime and you had to pay somebody back. You're a servant. Going to war. The Israelites went to war with each other. You went to war and you lost. Your tribe, your village, everybody is going into captivity under whoever you lost the battle to until the year Jubilee. The year Jubilee, these cats, they still brothers, they still our family. I know we had that beef and we conquered them and killed them and ruled over them, but now y'all brothers go and be free. Come on with it, Ash.
50 years of the 7th.
The 50th. So I'm gonna keep reading about the Jubilee, right? But I just wanted to stop on that part about being in servitude. There was 3 major conditions under which an Israelite would be in servitude under another Israelite. The first one was you commit a crime. You understand? And the punishment for that crime is service to the person who you committed the crime against. Another one was you go to war and you lose that battle. Another condition was you would fall under poverty. And in order to raise yourself out of poverty, you had to go and serve under another brother. Everybody understand? Under all three of these conditions, Israelites still were given favor, and there were laws pertaining to how you dealt with a brother versus how you would deal with heathens who you conquered. Everybody understands? The Israelites were never to be treated as heathens. All the scriptures in the Bible about taking in the stranger and the one that sojourns among you, people read those scriptures like they're talking about heathens. They're not talking about heathens. They're talking about Israelites. Everybody understands. When the Bible talks about a stranger is not a Chinese man in your village. A stranger is not a white man moving to the land of Gad. You understand? The stranger was you from South Memphis. A nigga from Raleigh moved next door. You like, who is this nigga? We don't know these niggas from Raleigh. We from South Memphis. Where you from, bro? Hey man, I'm from Raleigh. Oh, you a strange nigga. Y'all dress different. You walk different. You talk different. That's what it was. Everybody understands. It's the same thing as today. A stranger was somebody you wasn't familiar with. Hey man, you know that nigga, man? Nah, I don't know that nigga. He moved in, man. You know what I'm saying? He walking his little dog and stuff. I see he having girls going in and out of there. What's up with that nigga, man? I don't know. Is he hustling? Is he selling drugs? Man, I don't know. Nah, the nigga stay to himself, man. He a chill nigga. That nigga, he's strange. Everybody understands. Your cousin who you just meeting for the first time, you know, from California, he gonna be wearing one color. He gonna walk with his feet at a 45-degree angle. He gonna say, "What's up, cuz?" And you gonna be like, "Man, who this nigga, man?" And guess what? What do? We identify these strangers. Hey, man, that's Cali. Who's Cali? Oh, man, my cousin, man, just moved in from Cali. I remember I had a cousin who grew up with me in D.C. He moved to Cali, and in California, they called him D.C. Then he moved back to D.C. They called him L.A. But depending on where he at, he's L.A. or D.C. That's just how we do. Everybody understands. But the strangers is talking about Israelites. They're your brothers, and even though they're strangers, they're still your family, so treat them with respect. Treat them with the same dignity that you would want to be treated with. Everybody understands that, right? All right, so those are the three conditions under which an Israelite might fall in captivity under another Israelite. Everybody understands, or be a servant to another Israelite. So we'll keep reading the definition of Jubilee. Start from the top again. It says, according to Leviticus 25, every 50th year in Israel was to be announced as a Jubilee year. Three essential features characterized this year. First, liberty was proclaimed to all Israelites who were in bondage to any of their countrymen. The law provided that the price of slaves was to vary according to the proximity of the Jubilee year. Second, there was to be a return of ancestral possession to those who had been compelled to sell them because of poverty. This, of course, excluded the possibility of selling a piece of land permanently. So again, how could you lose land due to poverty? You go to the bank, you get a loan. The collateral for the loan is the land that your father left you. You ain't able to pay that loan back. The bank takes your land. Now, why does a bank take land? Okay, so let's say you buy a house, right? Why would a bank take your house if you don't pay it? Foreclosure, right? The idea behind foreclosure. Does anybody know why the bank takes your house? Come on with it.
So they can make money.
So that they can make money. How does the bank supposed to make the money? They're going to sell the house, right? Now, and ideally, the bank's supposed to only sell the house for what it's owed. Do banks do that? No. Bank will take your house. You owe $100,000. The bank will take your house, sell it for $300,000. And what do you get? Nothing. And you still owe $100,000. That's evil.
Right.
That's the white man. That's the devil. In Israel, you owe some money. They take the land. They make leases to somebody to grow some crops, and they work it and make some money off of it. Once the bank gets paid, here's your land back. You understand? Come on with it.
So how we did it was like the land make money. So that was basically like the interest.
Yes.
It made the money like if you
There was no interest.
But
as I'm saying, so okay, in Israel, it's a very simple system. We all look out for each other, right? Everything you benefiting benefits me. You doing good means we all doing good. You doing bad, if I'm still doing good, I'll help you. That's what the whole system of banking amongst us was. We look out for each other. You down bad, man. Listen here, boom. Take this 50,000. You get back on your feet. Just pay me the 50,000 back. That take the 50,000 every month. I'm adding 10%. You ain't never gonna be able to pay me back. That's evil. You understand? The Most High gave us laws against usury. So what it's saying here is the year of Jubilee was whatever you owe. So the bank took your land. Boom. You're not on your land no more. The bank is using the land to make the money that's owed. The bank get their money back. When the year of Jubilee come up, here, take your land back, bro. There you go. Come on with it.
Because they are making money off of your land anyway. You not having it.
And that stopped generations for being punished for one man's mistake. Your daddy could have been a fuck F up. Your daddy messed up, made bad business deals. He went and gambled and took some chances. 50 years from now, grandpa ain't gonna be there no more. But who gonna be there? His kids is there. 50 years later, hey man, take your granddaddy house and learn from your granddaddy mistake. Don't do what he did. Take this land and get what would that do for the nation, for the people? That would keep us living home, and it would keep us taking care of our stuff. Even if I'm not able to live on my if I know my granddaddy land is there, even if we owe the bank and I can't afford to pay it back, at least I still have an incentive for keeping the community tight, for not disrespecting the neighborhood and the neighbor, because one day I got to come back and live here. And that it instilled a sense of value and worth in things that belong to us, even when it may not have belonged to us. Today we live in communities where nobody cares about the grass or the dirt or the trash, because this ain't our shit anyway. This was to stop that. The year of Jubilee made sure that everybody had a respect for what was ours, because it always was going to be ours. Come on with it.
Keeping it all in Israel.
Yes, that was the point. Shalom, Lord Christ, our God. We know you're supposed to knock. Don't be doing that. Busting in the door. All right, but let me go ahead and keep reading where we was at. All right. Let's get All right, keep reading where we was at in the definition of Jubilee. All right. It says this, of course, excluded the possibility of selling a piece of land permanently. So there's a difference between you losing your land to do the debt and you selling your land. You sold some land. That's it. You sold it. You made a profit. You F that money up. That's on you. You can't come back later and be like, man, I no, you sold that. A business deal and falling into poverty are two different things. Everybody understand? Keep reading. Provision was made that the price of real property was to vary according to the proximity of the Jubilee year. The third feature of this year was that it was to be a year of rest for the land. The land was to remain fallow, even though it had been so in the previous sabbatical year. The people were to live simply on what the fields had produced in the 6th year and whatever grew spontaneously. Everybody understands? So another feature of the year of Jubilee was you have to understand farming in order to really get this, right? But there is a way for you to over farm a piece of land. So let's say we go back to a time today where we're going to start farming again. Let's say you have an acre of land. You have to divide that acre into 4 plots, right? And divide the sections. So boom, you have an acre. You divide it into 4 plots of land, right? 3 of the plots you can grow on, but you leave 1 of those plots of the dirt and don't grow nothing on it. And every year you switch which plot of land gets to rest so that the dirt gets its opportunity to get the nutrients and the minerals and things to make it healthy again. But if you just grow and grow and grow on every piece of that acre, after about 7-8 years, you're not going to grow anything because the dirt doesn't have any nutrients in order for it to feed whatever you're trying to grow. The year of Jubilee guaranteed that the land would have a year free of tilling, you know what I'm saying? Free of you planting and growing, and that whole process of growing and setting up a farm it's draining to the earth. And the year Jubilee made sure that the earth had a year to rest. Everybody understands? All right, so you good on that? All right, Most High Christ. Any other questions? All right, we don't have any. I'm not getting the chat up on the. I'm not able to see the chat on YouTube or Facebook. Let me just go on there right quick and see if anybody had any questions before we move on. All right. Bear with me. Con. All right. Let me check Facebook right quick, see if anybody have any questions on there. And if not, we'll go ahead and keep it moving. All right. All right. Bear with me. All right, okay, I can see both of the chats now. Nobody had any questions. All right, so we're gonna go ahead into tonight's topic again: the law of God, live by it, die by it. Because of religion, we've been taught a very harmful lie about the Bible, right? Growing up, a lot of us grew up Christian. We were taught that Jesus died for our sins, so that means that we are forgiven for all the wrong and the evil that we've done, right? They tell us that Jesus died for our sins, and for many people, that gives them a license to live their life however they want to live it. Gives them a license to do whatever they want to do. All they have to do is accept Jesus into their heart as their Lord and Savior, and really, that's it, right? And the danger with a belief like that is because it frees everyone from having any personal responsibility for their actions. We live in a time now where nobody takes any personal responsibility. You understand? There's the everybody is looking to blame someone else for the things that they do or the things that they allow. Everybody understand? The Bible was the laws of God were specifically designed to make sure that accountability rested with individuals concerning the actions that they took. You understand? There's a strength in the morality that comes from one day you're going to be judged by the Most High, and only you can stand before Him, and nobody can answer for you, and you have to answer for the things that you have done, whether they be right or whether they be wrong. Everybody understand? What that understanding and that mindset does is it creates a circumstance where you have to fight against creates a situation where you have to fight regardless of your circumstances. Everybody understands? We live in a time right now where we talk all the time about the oppression that we've suffered. We talk all the time about the programs of our oppression, the COINTELPRO, the Iran-Contra, where they brought in the cocaine. We talk about the women's liberation movement. We talk about these government programs that they use to divide the families and to give women, government support payments in order to feed them their children, and gave them housing, but they couldn't have men in the house. We talk about all the evil things that our oppressor has done. But which one of us can stand before God on the day of judgment and say it's the white man's fault? None of us. Because for every one of us, there is still a personal responsibility for you and what the actions that you've taken in your life. Everybody understands? Have we all suffered some things? Yes. Does God know the things that we've suffered? Yes. Could God have intervened and stopped us from suffering the things that we suffered? Yes. But he didn't. Why? Because whatever we have suffered, they created it served to create a condition and a circumstance that we had to fight against. And the Most High, being a father, he will allow challenges to enter into your life so that you can see that he created you with the ability and the power to overcome. Everybody understands? So having said that, there is no excuse for what you choose to do today. You can't blame what your parents did or didn't do. You can't blame the things that other people may or may not have done, because now you are at a place in your life where you can decide for yourself that I am not going to allow the things that were meant to harm me to determine how I choose to live my life today and going forward. Everybody understands. When you come to that place in your life and that understanding, then the laws of God gives you the blueprint that you need in order to structure your life properly. Everybody understands. But and when you begin to follow that blueprint, when you begin to understand these laws and understand what's written in this Bible, you begin to learn that you have been suffering because of not obeying these laws. Right. You understand? There's a saying they have in today where ignorance of the law is not it doesn't give you, it doesn't grant you freedom. You understand? Not knowing the law doesn't mean you're free to break it. You're still held to the law whether you know you breaking it or not. Everybody understands? That's how God has been dealing with us in our lives. We've been suffering things, doing evil, doing wrong in a society where you're taught you can do whatever you want to do. Just believe in Jesus. That's not what God doesn't recognize that. The Most High doesn't acknowledge your, but I thought Jesus died so I could. God doesn't recognize that. Everybody understands? You still suffer. You're still being punished for the wrong that you do. That's what we're going to focus in on tonight when it comes to the laws of God. Everybody understands? All right, let me go ahead. This first scripture. Hold on. Let's get Baruch in the Apocrypha, chapter 4, verse 1. Yeah, let's get Luke Baruch chapter 4 verse 1. All right. Young man, you got it.
Baruch chapter 4 verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endureth forever. All that they keep it shall come to life. But such as leave it, it shall die.
Everybody understands? This is the book of the commandments of God, and the law that endures forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such as leave it shall die. Keep reading.
Turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that they mayest be illuminated. Give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee, to the strange nation.
Everybody understands? The Lord said, turn thee, O Jacob, and take hold of it. Walk in the presence of the light thereof, that thou mayest be illuminated. Everybody understand? These laws of the Most High are the light that we need to find our way through the darkness of this world. And understand that this world is full of darkness. Everybody understands? But what do these laws do? These laws will brighten up the room. They will allow you to be able to see and navigate your way through all of the difficulties that a brother or a sister may face being in this world. Everybody understands? Yeah. Keep reading.
O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to God and made known unto us.
O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to God are made known unto us. You understand? This is what we have to understand. We are the people who have been given the key to pleasing God. We are the only people who have been given the instructions and the blueprint on how to satisfy the Most High. These other nations are not capable of it. Neither is God expecting it from them. The Most High is not looking to the Chinese man to stop eating dogs and cats because they weren't given a culture of not eating dogs and cats. He's not looking to the white man to no longer be a homosexual because their culture was built on being a homosexual. He's not looking to the Africans to stop, bathing in cow piss, cutting their daughters' clitorises, and doing the other things that the African nations do. God isn't expecting them to do anything different because that's been their culture from the beginning. Because we are the people who he gave the light to see us in darkness, he's going to punish us. He's going to chastise us because there's no reason for you to be in darkness when I gave you the light. There's no reason for you to not be pleasing me when I gave you the keys on how to make me happy. Everybody understands? That is the relationship that we have with the Most High. That is the condition that we find ourselves in right now. He is looking to us to be the children he called us to be. And because we are not obeying him and serving him, we are being punished because we're in the darkness with no light. Everybody understands? Keep reading. We'll get a little bit more on this. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Be of good cheer, my people, the memory of Israel. You were sold to the nation, not for your destruction, but because you moved God to wrath, you were delivered unto the enemies. For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils, and not to God.
Understand that Most High said that you were sold to the nations, not for your destruction, but ye moved the Most High to wrath. You were delivered unto enemies. Everybody understand? Again, many of us were born into these situations and circumstances that caused us to have to fight our whole lives. You understand? Our life is the very question that was asked to the disciples, asked Christ concerning the man who was born blind. Who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Well, guess what? You have to ask yourself, who sinned, me or my parents, that I was born to a family of drug addicts, that I was born to a family with child molesters, that I was born to a family of drug dealers and criminals and men who went to prison? You understand? Were you cursed because of that? Was God against you that you were born in that situation? Or were you born in those circumstances so that when you would triumph and overcome and serve the Lord, everybody would know the power of God was real? You understand? That's what you have to determine for yourself, for your life. We know, too many of us know the stories of the brothers and the sisters who, when I was born, my parents was crackheads and I'm out. They wasn't shit. I ain't shit. I ain't gonna be nothing. We know too many of those people. I know too many brothers who out there hustling, killing, and doing all manner of evil. And they say, well, my daddy wasn't there, man. I wasn't raised by no man. I don't know how to be no man. That's not an excuse, brother. You understand? What if you were born and didn't have a daddy because the Most High wanted to show that if a man come to serve me, even growing up without a daddy, you can still learn to be a man. You understand? Them brothers in this school, I came to this school, I was 24 years old, and I did not know how to be a man at all. And I had men in my life. My grandfather was there, my uncles was there. I had some men in my life, and I did not know how to be a man. I knew how to, I knew how to make some money and go to work and get a check. I knew how to get some women. I could bag abroad. But I did not know didn't know nothing about being a man. You understand? And it wasn't until I came into the truth that I began to learn what it meant to be a man. You understand? The people who knew me when I was in the world know me, and they see me now, they say, damn, this cat grew up. I was a grown man already, but I grew up when I came into the truth. Everybody understands? That's a miracle of the Most High. That's the power of God. Everybody understands? And that's what we all should be. We all should be saying, I was born into this family for me, for everybody to know that God is real, when I overcome the challenges that everybody else who was born into this family fall victim to. Everybody understands. But understand that these things that have happened, these things that we face in life, they were not made to, we were not put in these positions for our destruction. God is not he's not cruel. The Most High isn't cruel. He doesn't allow things to just happen for no reason. Everything happens for a reason. There's a purpose. Matter of fact, let's go to that scripture next, all right? We got Baruch chapter 4, verse 1 through 7. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter, I want to say 4. Hold on. No, 6. Give me Ecclesiastes 6 and 10. I believe. All right, let me go ahead. I believe it's Ecclesiastes 6 and 10. Ecclesiastes 1. 3 and 14. That's what it is. Ecclesiastes. You get Ecclesiastes 3 and 14. Everybody understands? Hold on. Matter of fact, hold on. Yeah, this is Ecclesiastes 3 and 14. All right. Let's go ahead. Ash, you got it.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 14. I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And God doeth, that men should fear before him. Verse 15. That which have been is now.
So, no, you can just drop right there. So, understand this. The scriptures say that I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. Meaning what? Everything that the Most High does, everything that happens because the Most High has made it to happen. Everybody understands? Now, why does the Most High do the things that he does? He does it so that we would be afraid of him. You should look at your life and you should think of everything that you've experienced in your life and know that God has been right there the whole time with everything that happened. And you should be afraid. I remember when I first came into the truth, one of the things that, it was impactful for me to hear was your whole life, God has been there and you've been disobeying him. You ain't been doing nothing that the Lord said to do. And look at how you made it. Look at how you turned out. If you think that you have a decent life and you ain't been doing nothing God said to do, imagine how much better your life will be if you start to do what he said to do. If you somebody, you count yourself blessed, you count yourself, man, God is with me. Well, how much more will God be with you if you did what he said to do? If you dedicated your life to being someone who the Most High could be proud of, could be pleased with, how much greater would your life be? If you think there's people out there who think that they blessed and they favored and God is with them. Well, if you believe that and you know that you ain't doing nothing he said to do, imagine how much more you'll be blessed if you do what he said. Everybody understands? That's what this is talking about. Everything that the Most High does, he's been done forever. Nothing can be added to it or taken from it. Meaning what? Everything happens in the Most High's time. He's the one in his time. He's the one that controls everything. Well, guess what? You should be afraid of him for that. Because the same way that he gives, he can take away. Everybody understands? All right. Let's drop that. Let's go. Look at Psalms chapter 149 and 19. 147 and 19. Young man, you got it. Psalms 147 and 19.
Psalm chapter 147, verse 19. He showed his word unto Jacob.
The Most High showed his word unto Jacob. Who's Jacob? Young man.
The father of Israel.
Father of the 12 tribes. So the Most High showed his word to who? He showed his word to the 12 tribes. Everybody understands? He read.
His statutes and his judgment unto Israel.
his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. Who's Israel? Young man.
Blacks and Spanish and Native Americans.
Same 12 tribes. Jacob and Israel is the same. Everybody understands? Jacob and Israel. So the Most High showed his word, his statutes, and his judgments to one people. He showed them to Jacob and Israel, the same 12 tribes. Read on.
He had not dealt with any other nation.
Read it slow. Read it one more time. Read it slow.
He had not dealt so with any nation.
He have not dealt so with any nation. So guess what? We the only nation he's dealt with that way. We the only nation that the Most High was close to enough to say, here, this is how I want you to live. This is like what he gave to us is like and understand this. You can be a man, you can have 50 pairs of shoes. There's nothing wrong with having a favorite pair of shoes. You can have a closet full of clothes. There's nothing wrong with having a favorite outfit. You understand? Out of all of the shoes in the closet, of all the clothes hanging up, of all the children that he had, we were the Most High's favorite. Why were we the Most High's favorite? What made us the Most High's favorite? Anybody? Why did the Most High choose Israel? What made the Most High have us to be the ones close to him versus any other nation? Kapatazar.
Because we release among everybody.
That's a good answer. That's a good scriptural answer. You know the scripture that says that?
Oh, come on. I might just paraphrase it. It says, I chose not because you were
Greatest among the people.
counselor, but because you were perhaps
The least. That's in Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter. But that's a good answer, but that's not the answer. That's a good answer, though. All right. Anybody else? Why did the Most High choose Israel? What made Israel special? It's again another one of them simple answers, but I want y'all to be thinking. Come on with it.
Was it the obedience of Jacob and the forefathers, Isaac, Abraham, them?
You more on it. You more on it. Young man.
Was it because the promise that he made to Abraham?
It was because of Abraham. That's what we gotta understand. We gotta understand that. Tap it up for the young man. Young man, give me my clap, man. I want my clap. Most High Christ. Good hands, man. Most High Christ. It was because of Abraham. And that's another thing we gotta understand is, again, the title of the class, Live by it, Die by it. We were granted this because of one brother who pleased the Most High. Abraham showed himself to be faithful and true and willing to do whatever the Most High required. That impressed the Most High. The Most High say, man, you mean all these people on this earth living, and understand this, Abraham was found in the same condition that Adam was in on the earth. Abraham was in a society where they were not worshiping the Most High. They were idols and all that. Abraham came up in Babylon, came up in the land of the Chaldeans. The prophecies Abraham was born in Ur of the Chaldeans. You go and the Bible tells you about Ur of the Chaldeans. It was the place where all the idols and all the multiple gods were being worshipped on the earth. Babylon was the place that was very much like America, where every religion was accepted. You could believe what you wanted to believe, and you could be what you wanted to be. Whatever you decided that you wanted to live, that was okay with them in Babylon, in Ur the Chaldees. And of all these people worshiping these gods and these idols, Abraham was brought up. His father Terah worshiped idols. You understand? The Most High came and spoke to Abraham one day, and Abraham listened to the voice of the Most High. You understand? And understand that Abraham listening to the voice of the Most High was not magic. It wasn't. Abraham listening to the voice of the Most High was like you coming to class when you found out that there was a school where they were teaching the truth. Everybody understands? The Lord speaking to Abraham wasn't magic. It wasn't some voice in Abraham's head. Abraham, I am God. Listen to me. Everybody understands? It's the same way that you stopped smoking weed. The same way you decided to, man, let me go to class, get my life together. Things were happening in Abraham's life where he realized, man, I ain't living right. I need to do something. I need to get myself together. And understand this, that in every generation, at every time on the earth, the Most High had men on the earth who were obeying him, who were serving him. Everybody understands? How do we know that? how do we know that during the time of Abraham there were men on the earth who were serving the Most High and obeying the Most High? And this is important for y'all to understand. I said this the other day in class. In every generation, there have been men on the earth that the Most High used to call his people back to remembering him, back to obeying him. Everybody understands? Even in the time of Abraham, those men were on the earth. How do we know? How do we know that there were people serving the Most High and obeying the Most High during the time of Abraham? Anybody? Check online. Come on with it, Ash.
I'm saying the separation of the people. They told Abraham to leave. And
Okay.
they left with him. They had to serve the Lord too.
No. Abraham, everybody that left with Abraham because they following Abraham. They wasn't following God.
Was it because Abraham was trying how to serve the Lord?
No. I'll give it to y'all. Melchizedek. Abraham paid tithes to Melchizedek, who was a priest of the Most High God. Well, how's this priest? No, he was a priest. Melchizedek was a priest. In the New Testament, we learn that Christ was after the order of Melchizedek. Priesthood of Melchizedek, which superseded the Levites. Why? Because Melchizedek was some 2 generations before the Levites was even born. Y'all everybody understand? Even during the time of Abraham, there were men on the earth who were serving God, who was teaching about the Lord. Everybody understands? With that even being the case, wasn't nobody doing what the Lord said to do. Wasn't nobody following them all. And okay, understand this. Priests don't get the glory that regular people do. Because a priest is made to be a soldier. He's made to serve God and obey God. Damn near, you can't not serve God even if you wanted to, if the Lord has called you to be a priest. Jonah did not want to do what the Lord said to do. God didn't give the nigga no choice. If the Lord has called you to do something, you're going to do it or you'll die. So doing your job that you're chosen to do, you don't get a pat on the back for that. You don't get an attaboy. You just do what you're supposed to do. That's in here. We do this job because it's our job. We don't do this job expecting for any fame or glory or the world to celebrate you. That's not why we do it. We do it because we ain't got a choice. I do this because without this, I ain't got nothing. I can't work no 9 to 5 without the truth. I can't make no money and what that sustain a relationship. What am I going to do if I don't have the truth? If my purpose isn't what the Most High chose me to do, which is to teach and raise up brothers and sisters, I can't do nothing. Everybody understand? That's different than someone who feels like they have a choice. Abraham was somebody who could have just decided to not obey God. But he said, no, I'm going to do what the Lord, I'm going to let the Lord lead me and guide me. And the Lord led Abraham and guided him, and Abraham was willing to do whatever God said, and that was powerful. That was heavy. The scriptures, let me get the scripture for y'all. Bear with me, hold on. Let me get, hold on. Hold on. Let's get Hebrews 11 and 8. All right. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 8 and 9. Everybody understand? And this goes right. This goes right into the topic of this of understanding just how tied we are to this law, because Abraham, even though he didn't have a law, and even though he wasn't raised in a family where they knew the Most High, Abraham understood that he was either going to. Abraham didn't understand. Abraham chose to live by the word of God. He could have chose to ignore it and die, but he chose life. Everybody understands. Yeah, Hebrews is Hebrews chapter 8. I mean Hebrews chapter 11, verse 8. I'll read it, all right, for time's sake. Go ahead and get it. Hold on. Also, too, for you brothers, Trooper and the young man. While we in class, I know we got these phones, but we're gonna be going out on the street teaching. You understand? I'm gonna have y'all reading, so I'm gonna get y'all. I need y'all to get Bibles so that you can get comfortable with finding these scriptures. Everybody understands? On the phone, you can just press 2 buttons and pop, boom, there you go. But you out there on that street, you got to find it. Everybody understand? And who knows? I could be in the middle of a battle. I call for 5 scriptures. Your head gonna be spinning. You understand? You're gonna get comfortable flicking through these. You know what I'm saying? Flicking through and finding these scriptures. You see, I ain't did it in a while. I'm looking for Hebrews right now. Like I know in between one of these two. You don't be like me. All right, be better than me. Don't be here. Hold on, give me a second, y'all. Cause out there on that street now, y'all know I can ad lib a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? We're gonna be able to get right to it. Get this thing here. Come on with it. Yeah, go good. Yeah, he good to go. All right, this is Hebrews chapter 8, verse 11. All right. I mean, Hebrews 11 and 8. So like I keep saying 8 and 11. All right. All right, this is Hebrews chapter 11 and 8. It says, by faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed. And he went out not knowing whither he went. Meaning what? Abraham was told to leave his home, leave his comfort zone, leave everything that he had known, and to go to a strange place. And Abraham did it trusting the Most High. He didn't know where he was going. He didn't know why he was going there. He didn't know what God had planned for him. But Abraham knew the Lord is calling me to get out of this place. You understand? And it was faith. It was his trusting that the Most High is leading me. He was rewarded for that. Everybody understands? Keep reading. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 9. By faith, he sojourned in the land of promise as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. Verse 10, for he looked for a city which had foundations, whose builder and maker is God. Everybody understand? Let's keep reading. Verse 11, through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed and was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable. Does everybody know what that's talking about in verse 12? Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable. What is that talking about? Just think of it's talking about, if it's verse 11 is talking about Sarah and her bringing forth a child. Verse 12 is talking about that child. Therefore sprang there even of one. Who's the one? Isaac is the one. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead. Why is the one him as good as dead? Because Isaac was to be sacrificed. He was as good as dead. Everybody understand? Therefore sprang there even of one. Therefore sprang there even of Isaac, and him and Isaac as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the seashore innumerable. What sprang from Isaac? Kapadazar. Jacob and Jacob's kids. Jacob and Jacob's kids are now innumerable. We everywhere. You can't count how many of us there are. I just heard a report today on the news that there's about 30,000 people gathering in Colombia right now. The white man is saying there's 30,000 people in Colombia, and they're about to make the trek to come to America, right? Among these 30,000 that's in Colombia right now, the majority are Haitians. Now, in my mind, I'm trying to say, how did these Haitians get from Haiti to Colombia to make the trek from Colombia to, okay, we're going to get a TV in here so I can put this up on here so y'all can be able to see what's in my mind, right? But okay, or not even TV, we can get a world map. Get a world map on one of these walls. But to go from Colombia to America, you got to travel through about 5-6 countries. You got to come up from South America through Guatemala, you know what I'm saying, into Mexico, and then travel the whole length of Mexico. Well, since the 2006 earthquake in Haiti, Haitians have been all over South America. There's a family of Haitians from Brazil. They said they've been in Brazil since 2006. But now that Biden is the president and they got the hope of immigration, they're all leaving wherever they've been stranded, and they're saying now's the time we can get to America. Now's the time we can get there because Biden gonna let us in. So they're leaving their homes in these South American countries and trying to come here to the border, hoping that America will let them in. You understand what I'm saying? We all over the place. You don't know where Israelites is at. Now think about it. Since 2006, some Haitians been in Brazil. How many Haitian Brazilian babies they didn't make down there? You understand? One thing about Israelites, we're gonna make some babies. Don't care what the situation is, what the circumstances are. Babies gonna be made. My grandmother was one of 33 kids in Danville, Virginia. What is in Danville, Virginia? I don't know. But it's some babies being made down there. They ain't got nothing else to do. They making some babies. Everybody understands. That's always been Israelites. They gonna make some babies. Ain't no heat. Some babies being made. 15 people in a 2-bedroom apartment. Somehow somebody pregnant. It's been happening since forever. So I can only imagine the Haitians escaped the earthquake. Oh, we got to make some babies. So you get some Haitian men with some Brazilian women. I can just imagine, or some Haitian women down there. The Brazilian men was speaking that Portuguese and that French, that whatever they speaking in Haiti. Somehow they making babies. Everybody understands. You cannot count how many of us there are. Everybody understands. Keep reading in Hebrews 11:13. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off and were persuaded of them and embraced them and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. Everybody understands? So, let me see something. Hold on. Yeah. So Abraham wasn't raised with the truth. He wasn't raised in a family where they were serving the Most High. But when the Most High came to Abraham to deal with him, Abraham acknowledged the Most High. And Abraham obeyed the Most High. Because of that, the Most High favored Abraham. He said, man, all the people that I done visited, that I done tried to get to take the right path, you the only brother that followed me. And that's what made Abraham God's friend. The Most High was pleased when he found his brother who would just, listen to him, hear what he had to say and follow him. Well, guess what? The Bible says that the angels rejoice every time a brother or sister hears the truth. You understand? If the Most High was pleased over Abraham, then how do you think he feels about you? Surely the time that we're living in is as wicked, if not worse, than the time of Abraham. And if Abraham was able to hear the Lord and change his life, you hear the Lord, you hear the Most High and change your life. The Most High is as pleased over you as he was over Abraham. Everybody understand? But that being pleased comes from you obeying the Most High, hearing the script, hearing the law, and obeying it. Everybody understand? Let's drop that. Back to Psalms 147:19. So the Most High gave his word, his statutes, and his judgments to Jacob and Israel. He have not dealt so with any nation. Why did he deal with us that way? Because of our forefather Abraham. Because of Abraham, God said, man, you've shown yourself to be faithful. I promise you that the reward for your faithfulness is that your seed is going to one day rule the earth. And I am going to always be their God, and they are going to always be my people because of the faith that you showed. Well, because of this one man's act, we are tied to the deal that God made with him. Not because we're special, but because that brother was special. Everybody understands? And guess what? The thing that made that brother special, it's in our blood too. It's running through us. Everybody understands? All we have to do is acknowledge it. All we have to do is take heed to it. Everybody understands? The same thing, the same way we may look at our family and we may know that, well, that alcoholism running my family, high blood pressure running my family. Well, guess what? So does righteousness.
Right.
So does faith. You understand? So does obedience to the Most High. Don't know why we shouldn't only recognize the horrible things that run in our family. It's also recognize the things that can give us strength. Recognize the things that can tie us to the Most High. Bring us closer to being who He called us to be. Everybody understands? All right. We can drop that. You finish the rest of Psalms 147 and 20.
Psalm 147 and 20. He has not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgment, they have not known him.
As for God's judgment, these other nations haven't known God's judgment. Again, the Most High ain't paying. He's not dealing with them. He's not paying attention to them. These other nations are sinning and doing all manner of evil. Why are they allowed to do evil and go unpunished? Because God isn't expecting them to do anything different than what they've always done. Guess what? At the time when the Lord was coming to Abraham and speaking to Abraham, guess what? The white man was a homosexual at that time. Them Africans were still showering under cows and doing whatever they was doing. Guess what the Arabs was doing during the days of Abraham? Selling and trading, buying and selling whatever they could get their hands on. The earth has always been in the same condition that it has always been in. The only difference has been us. The earth revolves around, are we doing what God said to do? In the periods of history where we've been doing what God said to do, the earth has seen transformation. The earth has seen great change. The rise and fall of civilizations is tied to the children of Israel doing what God said to do. Well, we've been not doing what the Lord said to do, and we see what's taking place. Everybody understands? All right. If we want the world to change, then what do we have to do? We have to change. When we change, then we'll change the world. But nothing can change for the better if we don't change ourselves. Everybody understands? All right, let's drop that. Let me get another scripture to add to this one. Always goes good with this one. Is Amos 3:1. I can read that real quick. And matter of fact, Ash, you read Amos 3:1 and 2 real quick. These two precepts always go together. Psalms 147, 19 and 20. Amos 3:1. Just in case somebody, they read the scripture and say, "Oh man, that ain't saying what that, that ain't saying that the God only dealt with them. He ain't dealt with nobody else." Amos 3:1 and 2 drives home the point. You go ahead and read it right quick.
This is the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord hath spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known in all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Can two walk together except they be agreed?
You can drop it right there. The Lord said, of all the nations of the earth, He's only known us. And that's why He punishes us for what we do, because we are the ones who the Most High expects more from. He's the ones who He holds to a higher standard. Everybody understand? All right. Let's get real quick. There's another scripture that goes on what we were talking about. Galatians 3 and 6. Real quick. This goes with the Hebrews 11 and 8. All right. Yeah, Galatians 3 and 6. You can read it real quick when you get it.
Galatians chapter 3, verse 6. Even as Abraham believed God, and it was accounted to him for righteousness. Know ye therefore that they which are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham.
You can drop that right there. Everybody understand? Even as Abraham believed God, and it was accounted to him for righteousness. You understand? Abraham lived at a time where, again, he wasn't raised in the truth, wasn't taught the truth. But when the Most High came to Abraham, Abraham obeyed. That was counted to him as righteousness. You understand? And we know that. Okay. Understand the law this way also. Even before the law was written down, the law still existed. How do we know that? How do we know that the law existed before Moses wrote it down? Potters, I know you know. You said somebody else knows. Young man. How do we know Adam was following the law? Okay, you know that breakdown. Okay. Yes, and the Lord breathed the breath of life into Adam. But what's the evidence from Adam's life that the breath of life was God's law? What do we know from how Adam lived that God gave him the law? Osh. Trooper Osh.
Adam fucked up. He knew he had messed up. Somebody had to tell him.
Okay, Adam was given a specific instruction not to take of the knowledge of the tree of good and evil. That's not a law. How do we know that Adam had the law? How do we know that Adam understood the things that we understand today? There's something in Adam's life that lets us know that he had the law of God and he was teaching the law of God. What's the evidence of that? Kapata's up.
His son knew the sacrifices and stuff.
Cain and Abel knew to sacrifice a lamb. Cain knew as well and chose to offer fruit. Abel was accepted. Cain's sacrifice was not. Everybody understands? Cain got angry when his sacrifice wasn't accepted, and the angel came to Cain. A voice came to Cain and said, "What you mad for? Don't you know if you do good, you'll be accepted?" Well, how was Cain? It's a play on words, but I'm not. How was Cain able to know what was good and what was bad to sacrifice? He was taught it by his father. Adam taught his sons, when you go to make a sacrifice to the Lord, when you go to please the Most High and make an offering, sacrifice a lamb. Take one of your lambs and kill it and offer it to the Lord. Abel was a good son who obeyed his father. He offered what the Lord required. Cain was not a good son. He did not obey his father. His offering was not accepted. And Cain was angry and pissed off and felt like, well, what I'm doing good enough. And the angel of the Lord spoke to Cain and said, what's wrong with you, man? Don't you know if you do good, you'll be accepted? But if you do wrong, man, sin is waiting for you at the door. You're going to be destroyed for choosing to do evil. Everybody understands? Those boys were taught by their father what was right to do. Cain chose to do wrong. Everybody understands? Kapata's up.
I'm sorry. So they wasn't being raised in the truth?
Yes, they were. Cain and Abel were raised in the truth.
Okay.
Cain rebelled.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And it just goes to show you that's why, again, it's personal responsibility. Cain couldn't blame nobody but himself. That's why the Bible gives us Cain's thoughts after not being accepted. The thoughts in Cain's mind, the Lord speaking to Cain is, what you mad for? You did wrong. You ain't do what you was told to do. You got that? What you mad? You ain't got no room to be mad. You didn't do what was right. Maybe if you did right, you would be accepted. You choosing to do wrong. You understand? Cain was raised to do right, taught to do right. He chose to do wrong. Everybody understand? We in the truth today. We get raising up children. You could have a child that chooses to do wrong. What are you doing in that instance? Are you to blame? Can that child say, my daddy thought he raised me in the truth. That's why I wanted to, they ain't let me have no fun. They ain't let me go to my cousin's house on Thanksgiving and Christmas. So when I got old enough, I went to celebrate Christmas. But nigga, that's on you. What happens in your life is on you.
Right.
You did it. You got to take some responsibility for that. The same way I can't blame my daddy for not being there. A child can't blame their daddy for being there. What is that? No, you chose to do that. Your circumstances and your situation is not an excuse. Everybody understands? It's personal responsibility. That's what the law gives us. The law gives everyone individually, you're responsible for your actions. You know better. You've been taught better. Everybody understands? All right. What was the scripture I was about to go to? That's that on okay. We went to Adam, and I want to say, how do we know that Adam had the law, right? There's other examples that Adam had the law and passed it down. Noah, when he went to take the animals on the ark, he took 7 pairs of unclean animals and 2 pairs of 2 pairs of the unclean animals and 7 pairs of the clean animals. How did Noah know what animals were clean and what animals were unclean? He was given the law passed down from Adam. You understand? Abraham was born of the children who survived after Noah. So what Noah had was being passed down. It was still in the earth. Everybody understands? That's how we have men like Melchizedek, who were priests of the Most High God in the earth during the time of Abraham. Everybody understands? This knowledge of the Most High, the truth of what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to live our lives was in the earth. Nobody was doing it. Nobody was obeying. Nobody was hearing the voice of the Lord. Abraham heard the voice of the Lord and obeyed it and followed it. And it was counted to Abraham as righteousness, even though he wasn't raised with the law. He heard the voice of the Lord and followed it and obeyed it. And the Lord said, this brother's righteous. Everybody understands? Then Abraham, in raising up Isaac, in raising up Jacob, gave them the law. You understand? And we know that they had the law and knew right from wrong, because you look at Jacob's children. The 12 fathers, they were not righteous men. These were some niggas. I can say niggas. These were some bad kids. You understand? But they were bad. They were kids who make mistakes like kids make. You understand? But they understood the importance of their family. They understood that God chose us. God loves us, and we have to dedicate ourselves to obeying him. Throughout their life, they learned the lessons of what happens when you disobey God, when you go against him. Some of them lost children. Some of them lost their inheritances. They lost different things that taught them God is serious about this deal that he made with our grandfather. You understand? So it was instilled in us the importance of obeying these laws and doing what the Lord said to do. Our forefathers learned because of the trouble that they faced in their lives. Everybody understands? Now, I got a question on YouTube from the brother Shabal. This is a very good question. He asked Salaki, sir, if I could, if the Most High isn't judging the oppressor, how do we break down the things that are happening on the earth, the water? So understand this, Shabal. The Most High is not judging our oppressor based on them disobeying God's laws. The Most High is judging our oppressor based on how they've dealt with us. The punishment coming to our oppressor is not, you was gay. Y'all gay. God ain't punishing the oppressor for being gay. God is the punishment coming to Moabites is not, y'all over there eating them dogs and them cats. I'm against them dogs and them cats. That's not why God is punishing them. He's punishing them because of what they've done to us. The Most High, when he comes and he punishes Ishmael, he's not punishing Ishmael for putting them women in them ninja suits and, chopping people's hands off or stealing or, stoning women to death for committing adultery or driving a car. He ain't coming at them for that. He's coming at them for the evil they've done, enslaving us in the sub-Saharan slave trade. To this day, you understand? Them Arabs, they hate some niggas, man. All these nations have taken a part in our destruction because guess what? All of them have come together and said, let us make sure that the name of Israel is no more in remembrance. It is not a coincidence that nowhere on the earth is anybody teaching that we are the people. All these nations with all their differences and all of their hatreds and all of their biases towards one another, they are all in agreement with one thing. We got to keep these niggas down.
Right.
We'll let them bounce a basketball and we'll let them act, we'll let them sing, we'll let them dance, but we will not let them identify themselves as the people of God. Because all the nations have a stake in us staying down. The Chinese think that maybe one day they can overtake the white man. That's why the Chinese they making trades and doing deals and ramping up their military. You understand? Amongst the Edomites, there's different factions of Edomites. The Russians believe that they can one day get rid of the idea of freedom that America lies about. So the difference between America and Russia is like the difference between Democrats and Republicans. Everybody understands. The white man in Russia believes the people will function better if they believe there's no freedom. It's just, you are under us. You do what we tell you to do. You go to work. You come home. You get paid whatever the hell we say you get paid. You get to do what we tell you can do for fun. You get to go where we tell you can go. That's life. Deal with it. That's the communist mindset. That's the Russian mindset. The American mindset is no, we're all free. Everybody's free. You can do what you want to do. You can live whatever life you want to live. You can be gay. You can be transgender. You can have sex with dogs. You can marry yourself. You can abort your babies. You can gay marriage. You can do whatever you want to do. We're all free. It's all equal. But you got to get a passport if you're gonna leave the country. You got to get a business license if you go. Right now, with this stimulus money they gave everybody, right? They slipped in there in the law that now any money that you deposit in your bank account over $600 has to be reported to the IRS. So your Cash App card, your Venmo, your little hustle, your little under the table money that you've been doing for years making money, the white man is going to tax your Cash App. Yes. Any money deposited that's over $600 has to be reported to the IRS. Y'all gonna learn how to fill out a 1099 form. Some of us know about a 1099 form. Any private contractors, you know about a 1099. Guess who don't know about a 1099? That sister who's been braiding hair for 30 years. She has no idea what a 1099 is because who calculates how much money a hair braider makes? The white man now, because of Cash App. You can't find cash anywhere. Everybody got a Cash App, and the white man is going to tax it now. The American way is, everybody's free. Do what you want to do. But you ain't free because we taxing everything. You're free. You can live how you want to live. You want to be gay and be transgender, no sweat. Go register at the office for everything. Go. You want to know why they let gays get married? Because gays who are married going to pay their taxes. You understand? You can be in America. You can be free. You can get on Facebook and do whatever you want to do. We're monitoring everything. We're tapping your phones. We're watching your Facebook. We in all your emails. We know the freaky text you sent. We know where you was at Saturday night. You left the house at 3 a.m. and used Google Maps to drive 50 minutes over here. Guess what? They got all of that. They're monitoring everything. But they want you to believe you free. The difference between America and Russia is Russia wants you to know, we're watching you. But America's like, no, you're free. Do your thing. But they watching you. It's just a different approach. Everybody understands. But they're both the same devil. They like, I say that because in the 60s and the 70s, with the Black Power movements that was happening at that time, they were caught between the difference between Martin Luther King and Malcolm X wasn't how we deal with the white man. Martin Luther King and them was saying we should be communists. We should rebel against this American way of government and choose this Russian way of government. The Muslims was, well, the white man's government ain't really what we should be doing. It's this Arab thing that's working. Both of them were choosing slavery. It's just a different form of slavery. The truth is, don't be a slave at all. Choose to serve God. Who cares what your politics are? If you choose righteousness, because that's really the only choice in life is choosing righteousness or choosing wickedness. Who cares if you choose what the varying degrees of wickedness are? You could choose, communism, but you're still evil. You could choose Buddhism, but you're still evil. You could choose Islam, but you're still evil. All of it is on the left-hand side. It's on the side of wickedness. There's only one thing that's on the side of righteousness, and that's obeying the Most High. Everybody understand? That's keeping His laws. That should be your only politics. You understand? And guess who? If you stand on righteousness, everybody's against you. Everybody understand? So when it comes to the Most High punishing our enemies, it isn't because of them not obeying Him. It's because of them being cruel to us. And even that should have you to understand just how serious the Lord is about the promise He made to Abraham. And He's going to wipe out these other nations, and Christ is going to take all the crowns because of this people. Because that's how serious the Most High is about the promise that He made and about being respected in the earth. The Most High looks at us and sees what's happening, and He takes it as a personal disrespect. You understand? We read Psalms 80, the 83rd chapter. We read that the other nations coming together to make sure the name of Israel is no more in remembrance. They are doing that as an assault to God. They said to themselves, let us take to possession the houses of the Most High. This is the house of the Most High, the 12 tribes of Israel. These other nations said, we're going to take them. We're going to take what belongs to God. We're going to use it how we see fit. And that the Most High can't stand for that. Everybody understands? All right. You can drop that. Let me get let's stay in Galatians. All right. Let's get Galatians 3 and 10. And again, the title of the class was the law of God, live by it, die by it. All right. And I want us to understand that living by the law and dying by the law are two sides of the same coin. Everybody understands? You can choose not to follow the law, but that doesn't excuse you from paying the price. Everybody understands? And this scripture right here explains it. And I want brothers and sisters to understand that the law does work death. Everybody understand? And we're going to get an understanding of that right here. It's Galatians chapter 3, verse 10. All right. It says, for as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse. For it is written, cursed is everyone that continueth not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them. Everybody understand? I'll read that one more time. For as many as are of the works of the law are under the curse. What does that mean? What does it mean to be of the works of the law? That's going to help us to understand this. What does it mean to be of the works of the law? Very important, really, to understanding the law and also to understanding Paul. Christians do not understand this. They think they understand it. They have no idea what it's talking about. I don't want you all to be tripped up because I'm asking a question. Just tell me what you think it means of the works of the law. Kapatazar. No. Of the works of the law it does not mean to be obedient to the law. That's what a lot of people think. All right. So of the works of the law does not mean you're obedient. True Bahaj.
You curse because of the law, because you don't break the law. So it's like a curse.
Just give me the of the works of the law part right now.
I mean, we obey, may not obey, but we told to follow the law. It's damn near impossible to follow.
No, that's another thing Christians think. That's not what it. That's don't. These are good answers. I want this is what I want to get out of you. Right? I want y'all to say these things so that you can get it out of your system. Of the works of the law is not obedience. The work of the law is not obedience. You understand? That's not what it means. The work of the law is also not being able to follow it. That's also not what the work of the law means. Of the work of the law. You own it. She said, is it to carry out the punishment? She's closer. She's getting on to it, but that's not it neither. All right. Young man, you want to give it a shot? Oh, go ahead. Come on with it. No sweat. All right. So for time, maybe the brother online on YouTube, Trucker Bill TV said the practice of the law. All right. To practice the law of the works of the law is to practice the law. Then Trucker Bill TV said punishment of the works of the law is punishment. All right. Okay. I'm gonna try to make it simple for y'all. Sister Carla Hobson said to fulfill the law. All right. I'm going to make it clear for everybody. I want you to remember this going forward. Anytime you read the Bible and you think about the works of the law, all right? The law tells us the instructions that we're given is what not to do. Everybody understands? The law tells you what not to do. Leviticus 11 is don't eat pork. Don't eat shellfish. Don't eat, squirrels and rabbits. That's what the law tells you not to do, right? The law tells you don't be a homosexual. So the law tells you not to do. Don't be an adulterer. The law tells you don't worship other gods. Everybody understands? To obey the law requires you to do nothing. There's no work that goes into There's no work that goes into obedience. Obedience is the easy thing to do. The obedience requires you to just obey. There's no work in obedience. Everybody understands? Do you have to fight to not eat pork? No. Do you have to fight to not be gay? No. Do you have to fight to not worship other gods? Is there something forcing you to worship other gods? Do you have to run and go anywhere? Do you have to hide anywhere to not worship other gods? No, you can just choose, I won't do that. That doesn't take any work. The work of the law is, if you're a homosexual, stone him to death. The work of the law is picking up stones and killing somebody. Everybody understands? The work of the law is, if you ain't circumcised on the 8th day, kick them out of the nation. Everybody understands? That's the work of the law. The work of the law is kicking someone out the nation. The work of the law is you still pay back 7 times. The work of the law is paying back 7 times. I got to work to pay back 7 times what I stole. The work of the law is carrying out the judgment. Everybody understands? To obey, there's no work involved. But to make up for sin, that is the work. Everybody understands. The work is what you have to do as a consequence for sinning. Everybody understands. So with understanding that the work of the law equals the consequences for sin, we're going to plug that into the verse we just read and see if it reads a little bit clearer. Everybody understands? Kapatazar.
So why does it seem like it's like, especially today, it's hard to be obedient? Like, you know, like you say, they don't work.
Because we live in a more open society where you're taught to disobey. It feels like obeying is hard work because you've been taught your whole life to disobey. Now it feels like fighting to obey. It feels like you got to fight to not worship other gods.
Right.
Why? Because Christmas is shoved down your throat. Thanksgiving shoved down your throat. Valentine's Day is shoved down your throat. You got to damn near turn off everything to not be engulfed by it. Even then, it's still around you. You go to the grocery store, you go out to eat, you go, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We're about to hear that shit for the next 3 months. You can't get away from it. That's this society. Everybody understands. But the Lord wanted us to live in a society where we would never hear Happy Holidays. That's why this place is important. You got to come here to decompress from out there. You got to come here to be free from all the happy holidays and Happy New Year and Merry Christmas and Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, what are the children for Halloween? You got to come here to get away from all of that shit. Because it is down your throat. That's the point. That's why the oppressor does it. That's why it's on the TV, the radio, and all those things. Everybody understands. So it feels like it's a fight now because of how we've been raised. But once you come into the truth and when you remove the burden of the world and you take on the burden of Christ, then it's not even fighting anymore. It's like you start to look at it like it's goofy. Y'all goofy. I look at brothers who's stressing about Christmas. I'm like, you about to blow $700? No, you about to blow $3,000 before the new year. You got rent due on the first. You about to blow $3,000 on some toys that the kid's gonna break in a day. That's goofy as hell, brother. I saved so much money by not celebrating the white man's holiday. Even if I wasn't spiritually inclined, I would just make up. Yeah, I'm an Israelite now, baby. We ain't celebrating no Christmas. We're gonna save this money. If I was just being a hustling nigga, I would be like, yeah, baby, there ain't no more Christmas in this house. We serving the God of the Bible, the nigga God. He say no Christmas, we ain't celebrating no Christmas. Man, we get them kids whenever I feel like buying them something, I buy them something. But everybody understands. When you learn the truth, it frees you from the burden of Christmas. Frees you. How many people have family who they dread seeing on Thanksgiving? But you gotta go to grandma's house on Thanksgiving. The family everybody gonna be there. We gather together at these family functions on these white man's holidays with people who we hate. People who we otherwise would have nothing to do with. We're there forced to act like we're nice to them because of the white man's holidays. You got them cut. In the world, I had cousins that would come high all the time to the family functions. And I'd be like, why you come here high? You high, we can be high everywhere else. Why come here and be high in front of auntie? And to me, I felt disrespectful. But then I learned, like, my family got beef. My cousin hate my auntie. Hate her. They hate my uncle. Hate them. They high to not fight. He come in here high so he don't cuss everybody out and say F all of y'all. He high so he can just come get some food, be seen, and he can leave. He don't care about what he don't care. I didn't know because I don't have that same hate. So I could be around them sober and just look at everybody else be angry like, y'all niggas tripping. My family crazy as hell. Until I learned like, oh, there's real beef. Y'all niggas really beefing. I didn't know. I thought we was a happy family type shit. I thought we was all straight. Nah, nigga, it ain't. There's some real deep-seated problems in this family That's why niggas is hot. Everybody understands. Well, guess what? We wouldn't even have to come together. Niggas wouldn't even have to pretend if it wasn't for this white man's holidays.
Right.
We could have just kept it moving. Everybody understands. Or we could have got some actual healing. Maybe we wasn't gathering for these fake these holidays. Maybe we could actually work out some of the problems we got. Instead of coming together pretending like we cool, then everybody leave, and then you finding out all the. Listen, I was the kid that sat around my mama and her sisters and listened to them talk bad about everybody, and to be in my mind like, damn, they talking so bad about all the people. I thought we was family. Why they talking so bad? And realize these real problems in this family. Everybody understand? We would be able to solve those problems and just deal with them if we didn't have to come together every other month to pretend like everything is cool. Everybody understand? You free yourself from all of that BS, man, and you can actually maybe deal with the problems that's in your family. You can go to somebody and talk to them about what's wrong and whatever issues you got and childhood traumas. We can hash them out. But we forced to come together for this white man's holidays. We just pretending to get through the day, faking just to get through the event so we don't fight and kill each other. And that's our oppressor's culture. Everybody understands. But we got of the works of the law equals the consequences for sin. Everybody understands. So let's go ahead and read Galatians 3:10 over again. All right. For as many as are I'm trying to find a way to say this. Okay, for as many as suffer the consequences for sin are under the curse. If we remove of the works of the law and replace it with consequences for sin, it's clear what we're talking about now. Everybody understand? For as many as suffer the consequences for sin are under the curse. If you suffering the consequences of sin, you under the curse. You're under the punishments of the law. You're under the bad end of the law. That's what it means to be of the works of the law. To be on the receiving end of the law. To be on the instruction end of the law, you just obey. If you obey, you are on the instructions end of the law. If you disobey, you are under the works of the law. Everybody understand? You are on the receiving end. Everybody understand? If you are on the receiving end of the law, you are under the curse. Cursed is everyone that continueth not in all things which are written in the book of the law to do them. It explains what it means to be cursed. Cursed is everyone that continueth not or disobeys all things which are written in the book of the law to do them. Verse 11. But that no man is justified by the law in the sight of God. Everybody understands? No man is justified by the law in the sight of God. What does it mean to be justified by the law? What does justified by the law mean? This is another important one for us to understand. What does it mean to be justified by the law? Come on with it.
You can be called righteous or wicked just for the law's sake. Following the law, just doing the law. You can't say that you either or just because you follow the laws and be more than that to be called righteous or wicked. The law is a part of it, but being in the law just ain't gonna be able to do it by itself.
Okay. No. All right. I understand the thought process, but again, get that out of you. It doesn't have nothing to do with justified by the law. Has nothing to do with you're righteous or wicked by the law, right? It sounds like being justified by the law is I obey the law, so I'm right. I'm righteous because I obey the law. It's not talking about that. If you be justified by the law, is not to be made righteous by the law. We think that. Sounds like it's saying if you obey the law, it sounds like it's saying even if you obey the law, you're not justified by God. That's not what this is saying. Justified by the law means something specific, and it has nothing to do with being righteous. Everybody understands? Again, being justified by the law is dealing with being on the receiving end of the law. Remember, if you on the instruction, if you just obey the law, don't require no work, the law ain't got to do nothing to you. You just obeying it. Being justified by the law means the law is doing something to you. The works of the law means the law is doing something to you. If the law is doing something to you, that means you sinned. That means the law is punishing you, correcting you. Everybody understands? All right? Justified by the law means forgiven by punishment. Right? So if you steal from a man and you work 7 years, and you work and pay him back 7 times what you owed, that doesn't make you righteous. You don't get to say, yeah, I stole from the nigga, but I paid him back 7 times what I stole. I'm a good nigga. You ain't, what? You're not justified by that. That don't make you right. Yeah, so what? I sinned, nigga. I gave my turtle dove. I bought my turtle dove, nigga. I'm right by God. God shines on me. God smiles on me. No, nigga, that ain't how that work. You bought a turtle dove. Nigga, this is my 4th lamb this year. I brings my lambs, nigga. You ain't justified by that. You talking about? You don't make you right. The hell is wrong with you? That's what it means. It's so evil. When Eddie Long got found guilty of when he got exposed for molesting children, when the pictures of him taking pictures in the gym mirror came out that he sent to boys' phones, the nigga stood in front of the church and said, David killed Goliath with some stones. I got 5 rocks and I ain't thrown one yet. And the people clapped for the nigga like, so, okay, nigga, you didn't fire back at anybody for exposing you for being gay? That make you the bigger man? They expose you for being gay, but you ain't hurt nobody. That make you, what does that make you? You're the bigger man because you didn't throw a stone, you know what I'm saying? It's like you rob somebody and they shoot up your house and you say, yeah, but I ain't even kill nobody. Yeah, they shot up the crib, but I ain't kill nobody. I'm gonna let bygones. Nigga, you stole from them. They shot your crib up because you're not justified by that. That's what it means to be justified by the law. To be justified by the law is being forgiven by punishment. Paying a man 7 times what you owe, what you stole from him, forgave you by the law. The law means, okay, we even now. But being even isn't righteous. You understand? You're not justified by that. You see, nigga, I got this one eye. That's because I took a nigga eye. But guess what? I gave mine up. You just a one-eyed nigga. You not righteous because of that. You see these teeth, nigga? I took 3 teeth. My teeth is missing. That don't make you right. Because you missing some teeth, nigga. Stop taking teeth. You have all your teeth. You meet a nigga with 3 fingers. Yeah, man, you see these, I've been riding, but you know what? I paid my dues. Nigga, you ain't right for that. A rapist go to jail for 10 years. He don't get to come home and say, yeah, I raped them little girls, but guess what? I did my time, nigga. What? You're a rapist, nigga. You don't come home from 10 years and what, all forgiven? I'm gonna let you around my little girls now? Hell no. You on a child sex offender list, nigga. You're not justified by the punishment. You're not justified by that. That don't make you righteous. You don't get a pat on the back for that. That's what Paul is saying. Everybody understand? Read it again. Galatians 3:11. But that no man is justified by the law in the sight of God. I'm gonna read it with what I plugged in here. But that no man is forgiven by punishment in the sight of God. God doesn't look at you as being righteous because you paid your debt. You paid your debt, now you're starting at 0. Now you can go forward and be righteous. But you can't begin to be righteous until you make up for what you've done. When we come into the truth, you cannot begin to be righteous until you be born again. Until you truly repent. Until you truly change your life. You could be coming into the truth for 10 years. You still doing evil. You ain't in the truth yet. You haven't truly become a new man yet. You still fighting to become that new man. Your righteousness doesn't begin until you repent. Repentance is putting behind you the evil you used to do. Until you've put that evil behind you, you have not repented yet. You just a nigga under grace. You a nigga trying to get right, praying Christ don't come tomorrow. Because if he come tomorrow, a lot of us would be dead. I think the Most High, he didn't come, Christ ain't come 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago. Who knows? I'm thankful the Most High gave us another day to get right. Because Lord allow, tomorrow will be the day that I begin to walk in my righteousness. We should all be striving for today to be the day that we began to walk in righteousness. Everybody understand? And then you add another day onto that. Now you get 3 days. Now you got a week of righteousness. But it took you 10 years to get there. Everybody understands? But we should all be striving for today to be the day that we begin to walk in righteousness. Because you're not justified by, well, I did do wrong, but now I'm trying to get it right. You ain't justified by that. Everybody understands? All right, keep reading. Salakia. This is the end of Galatians 3:11. The just shall live by faith. What does that mean? The just shall live by faith. What does it mean to be just? To be just is to be righteous. The righteous shall live by faith. What does that mean? The righteous shall obey. To live by faith means you obey. The righteous shall live by faith. Right? How does faith lead to righteousness? What do the just have faith in? For time's sake, we have faith that the Most High will forgive us for the past if we obey him now. Everybody understands? All of us have done evil. We've done wrong. And we pray the Lord forgive us. What is our part in making sure the Most High forgives us? We obey. When we say the Lord's Prayer, we ask the Most High to forgive us our debts. We got debts. We asking that he forgive them. What do we have to do? We have to forgive our debtors. We have to forgive the people who have wronged us. And as we ask the Most High to forgive us for wronging him, then we're walking in righteousness. That's just. Everybody understands. So the faith that we have is that I know I was evil for 24 years of my life. But if I start today to obey the Lord, he'll forgive those 23 years. And he'll only look at these 5 years that I've been righteous, these 10 years that I've been righteous, these 2 days. There was a man who was on the cross next to your house. He said, when you go into your kingdom, please bring me with you. And Christ said, you're going to be with me tonight in paradise. You understand? It's never too late for you to get it right. It's never too late to be forgiven. It's never too late to walk, to live by faith. Everybody understand? Again, remember the parable that Christ gave of the workers. One cat showed up top of the morning. He got hired for one price. Cat came at noon, got hired for got paid the same money. Another cat came at 6 in the evening, got hired for the same job. The nigga who was there at the top of the morning and the nigga who was there at noon was getting paid. The niggas that was there at noon and the top of the morning, like, hold up, man, he just showed up. How he get the same pay that I get? Nigga, y'all all signed up to do the same job. You get the same reward. He just came a little late. But it don't mean he ain't getting over. He still got to do the same job. You just been doing it longer. Focus on you. You keep doing your job. Don't be the nigga who showed up in the morning. You looking at everybody out there having fun while you working and you jealous of the niggas that's out there. No. Let them come on in. Let them come on in and work and do this job too. Let them get their reward. Man, we all going to eat. What you mad? Is he going to eat? That's evil as hell. You want to close off the door. Nah, can't nobody else come in here and get none of this work. Can't nobody get none of this money. Damn. I want the niggas in the streets to come on here. Come on in here, man. Get some of this work. Get some of this reward. Everybody understand? All right. Let's read on. This is Galatians 3:12. And the law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live in them. One more time. And the law is not of faith, but the man that doeth them shall live in them. Again, what does it mean? The law is not of faith. What are we talking about? Young man.
It is saying, law doesn't have faith. It don't have, it is saying,
Just all right, to help you out. What is faith?
be the Most High.
Faith is obeying the Most High, right? That's what faith is. Oh, faith is obeying the Most High. So again, and the law is not of faith. The law is not of obeying the Most High. No, don't think that. Remember, to obey the law requires you to do nothing. To be on the receipt, for the law to act, you have to have punished it. You understand? The punishments of the law are not of faith. You understand? The punishments of the law are, it's because it's written, it has to happen. Everybody understands? Getting a ticket for a seatbelt violation is not of faith. The cop don't give you a ticket because you had faith. The cop gave you a ticket because you, according to the rules, you're wrong. It don't take faith to be wrong. It's the opposite of faith to be wrong. To be wrong is to not care, to not respect the authority, not to respect the rules. You understand? The punishment is not for those who have faith. The punishment is for those who don't have faith. The punishment is for those who don't obey. You understand? The punishment has to be there so that the people who don't have faith can get faith. There's no need to have faith, or there's no need to be faithful if there's no punishment. Why would I choose to do anything if there's no consequences? The law is the consequences. You understand? So that when it says the law is not of faith, the consequences are not of faith. Consequences are of the letter of the letter. This is of the rules. Everybody understand? The consequences are not of faith. Obedience is of faith. Punishment is not of faith. You understand? When it's talking about the law here, that's what it's talking about. The works of the law acting against you. That's not of faith. The man that doeth them shall live in them. The man that fulfills the punishments, the man that gives a tooth because he took a tooth, he'll live by that. He'll live in that. You'll survive. Hey, you took a tooth, you gave a tooth. Okay. Hope you learned your lesson. Don't lose no more teeth. You only got 2 eyes. The cat that took an eye and gave an eye. All right, now you only got 1 eye. You literally can't give another one. So that eye being gone should have you do what you're supposed to do. Everybody understands? That's what the punishments were meant to do. The punishments were meant to make you have faith. You know what, man? I should just trust in. I should just do what the Lord said to do. I tried it my way and I lost a tooth. I tried it my way and lost an eye. Maybe I should just do what the Lord said to do. That was the point of the law, to check you so that you would not want to get checked again. That was the point. Everybody understands? Verse 13, Christ has redeemed us from the curse of the law. Christ redeemed us from being punished. He's redeemed us from losing a tooth, redeemed us from losing an eye. How? Being made a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree. Christ redeemed us from being punished because he was punished. Everybody understands? He was punished. When it says cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree, that being crucified was the punishment for crime in Rome. Romans punished you by putting you on a cross. Everybody understands? Christ was punished. He suffered a punishment death, even though he committed no crime. So because he died, now you can be forgiven. But what do you have to do to be forgiven for your crimes? He died. What do you have to do to be forgiven? Christ died for us. What do we have to do for Christ? Young man. Yes. Say it clearer than that. You're right. That's the answer. But say it better. Christ died for us. What do we have to do for him? Yes. There's still a better way you can say it. Christ died for us. What do we have to do for him? No. You're right with everything you're saying, but there's one perfect answer. He died for us, so we should do what for Christ? Yes, give the brother a hand. You understand? Christ died for us, so we should live for him. He died. I should do what he would do if he didn't die. I should live the life that he would live if he was here. He didn't have to die. He could have lived forever. He could have still been on the earth right now, rocking it out. He died, though. Because he died, I should give my life for him. Who cares who I was in the world? Who cares what I've done in the past? This body belongs to Christ. He died, so I'm going to give my body to him. I'm going to live for him. I'm going to let him live through me. How do I let him live through me? I do what he would have done. I don't eat pork. I don't I don't have dreadlocks in my hair. I don't smoke weed. I don't have sex with prostitutes and whores. I don't smoke, I don't sell drugs. I don't do any of those things because Christ wouldn't have done them. I do exactly. I have faith. I obey the Most High. You understand? And if we do that, the reward for that is Christ said we'll do greater things than he did. He walked on water. He healed the sick, raised the dead. We'll do greater than that if we live for him. We live for him, I'm gonna go Super Saiyan on y'all. Go Super Saiyan, go fly, go, just gather up a whole gaggle of devils, take them into the sky until they burst and pop in the atmosphere, then fly back down and be like, yeah, man, y'all know what time it is. Who knows what we could do? Christ said if you had the faith of a mustard seed, I don't know if you ever seen a mustard seed. It's smaller than the period dot on your paper. You get a mustard seed. Christ said you could move mountains. Tell the mountain fall. And that like the white man with bombs and dynamite. You tell the mountain move. The mountain collapse. Fall out the way. You understand? That's the power that we can tap into if we obey the Most High, if we have faith. Everybody understand? With that, we close out the class. Clap it up. All right, we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Since 1969, we've been teaching so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, Salaki, descended from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. In the times that we're living in now, there's nothing more important than for so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians to learn the truth about who they are, where they come from, and what their purpose is on this earth. With that, any brothers want to be, Salaki, with that, we got rules for new brothers and sisters in the school. When they first come into the school, they off limits for 6 months. They are here to learn and share themselves with the world. Tithes, which is commandment, 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High gives you, give to the school. Again, this weekend is going to be the having a cookout down there in Houston. We're going to be standing down from camp here in Memphis. I'll be out of town till Monday. All right. With that, brothers want to be troopers in the school. Start wearing all black boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. With that, Imajim, which means to stand. Again, due to time constraints, we're going to send up the Lord's Prayer. All right. Bapanya Hakwadam, which means turn and face the east. Send up the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa,
Abanawa,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Shabbat Shemayim,
Kodash,
Kodash,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Shemka,
Shemka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Malakwafka,
Malakah,
Kaba'ah,
Kaba'ah,
Ratazayaka,
Zayah,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Aisha,
Asha,
Ba'arataza,
Baratza,
Kawak,
Kawah,
Hayah,
Hayah,
Bashamayim,
Bashamayim,
Nathanlanaw,
Nathanael,
Lakam,
Lakam,
Ka,
Ka,
Yawam,
Yawam,
Wasalachanaw,
Wasalachnaw,
Kababwafnaw,
Kabawahnaw,
Kasalachnaw,
Kasalachnaw,
Kababwafyanaw,
Kabawahnaw,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Tabayanaw,
Tabayanaw,
Banasaya 1,
Banasai,
Abal,
Abal,
Hawashai now,
Hawashai,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Rad,
Rad,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Laka,
Lakah,
Hamalakwa,
Hamalakwa,
Waha'ala,
Waha'ala,
Wahafapa'ara.
Waha'ala,
One more time. Wahafapa'ara.
Waha'ala,
La'aiwalumium.
Wa'alamun,
Amen.
Amun.
All right, Lord, pray in English. Our Father,
Our Father,
which art in heaven,
which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy kingdom come,
thy will be done
thy will be done
in earth
in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts
forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors,
And lead us not into
and
temptation,
lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
So be it.
So be it.
Song, which means to turn. Get brothers one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Madam Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahushua Barakatham. Yajamatah, hands down. Sorry, turn to face the sisters. Get the sisters one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Madam Shabbat, Amajim, Barak, Yahweh Shema, Alathan, Ba'ashem, Yahushua. Yajamatah, class dismissed. I'm sorry.